Hey guys, wanted to show you a couple of hacks I did on the Super Impulse tiny arcades that became available about a month ago, close to a month ago. They started out at Cracker Barrel, but you can get them at Toys R Us out here now, which is pretty cool. This is not a how-to video, this is more of a demonstration. We'll have a how-to video a little later. But basically what I wanted to do was add a rotary switch here. So I found one from Adafruit online for close to $2 each, and this little rotary switch is pretty neat. Now you have to wire it up. After you wire it up, you're gonna have to turn the unit off and change to whatever game you want, and then turn it back on so that it will latch and pick up that programming at that address that's been programmed into the application specific integrated circuit that's in there. That's what those little blobs of black are on the chip. That's specifically a chip made just for this application. So it's Pac-Man, but you could turn it on and off, and there's 4 games built into it they don't tell you about. Turn it back on. Now you can get to the diagnostic mode if you go past the 4, and what that does is it removes any kind of jumper that would have been inside this machine to jump the game. So no jumpers on this board when you buy it means that it goes into a diagnostic mode that they use at the factory to probably test it, because when you go into the diagnostic mode you can test your joystick, which is pretty neat. They probably did that. You can also, test your buttons and everything else. See the buttons coming up? You can test the alignments, everything's there. I'm going to go back. As you notice, the game does not change yet. I have to turn it off and back on, then I can go back to my games that are on the Switch. Now, I also wanted to be able to not only use battery, but these things can eat batteries, especially if you use them for a while. So I actually put a miniature breakout board for USB in here, and you can basically, the way I wired it, once you plug it in, the unit will come on when it's on the off position back here. That's because they used a double throw switch in it, so I wired to the other side of the switch to apply the power for the USB, because you don't want both power sources supplying at the same time, or you could blow the batteries up and that wouldn't be very nice. It'd be kind of nasty. So you want to be able to do that and switch back and forth. Like I say, when I turn it on, it's back on battery power, and I can remove this. It's safe to keep it plugged in when you wire it this way, but you got backup power. Now when you're switching games, if you got USB on here and you still have batteries in it, you'll have to flick it back and forth. You'll go between battery and USB. But if you want to keep it on USB, just flick it back to USB once you choose your game on the back here. This hack is probably out of a 10 scale. This is probably a skill level of about, I'd say 7. To do this hack. This is not for beginners. I wouldn't recommend it. There's a lot of intricate work and cutting and so forth that you could damage your unit. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it until you have a lot of practice, because I could just see a nightmare happening. But I will put a how-to video out there in case someone wants to do this hack. I'm not responsible for anything that happens to it. You're on your own when you do it. But I just thought it'd be neat to have, both powers. If I could ever figure out how to bypass the demo mode so this would just play itself, that would be really neat. That way I could set them all on USB power and just set them up as a display item, which would be really neat. So until I figure that part out, hope you enjoy the video. And like I said, just wait until I have a how-to the next day or so. And hope you liked the video. Thank you.